This is Brandon Schubert coming to you once again from Gain Strength Training Gym. Today we're talking about the Zercher reverse lunge. So reverse lunges activate more fibers of the posterior chain, glute and hamstring, keep the abdomen engaged better than the forward leaning version. So one of the reasons why we emphasize glute and hamstring work so much at Gains is they're usually very underdeveloped muscles, very weak for everyone that trains the big movements. Most everybody has very strong quads relative to their glutes and their hamstrings. If you do actually have a glute hamstring over predominance, which I highly doubt, but if you do, then feel free to do the walking forward version. The reverse lunge version for most people is much more challenging and is much more long-term beneficial than the forward walking lunge variation. The reverse lunge enhances so much as far as proprioception and stability that for tons of athletes with a unilateral imbalance in their squatting or deadlifting patterns, because let's be honest, not everybody's legs are symmetrically strong. Everybody's working off of some kind of imbalance as far as force production. So 70% on the right leg, 30% on the left leg. Ideally, we want to even those out, because if the leg musculature is not balanced, what happens is that you're going to have uneven torque on the pelvis, which means you have uneven torque on your lower back. One of the big things that you hear about all the time is squats and deadlifts, or squats and or deadlifts hurt my knee or my back. The problem with those statements is no one's really assessing how well they're doing those movements. What is the quality of the movements? What is the strength capacity of each side? What are they doing stabilization wise to make sure they're not creating stress imbalances in places where they shouldn't be? Remember, squats and deadlifts are just exercises. If they hurt you, you're probably not doing them well enough to do them. Just like somebody who's trying to run 12 miles. If running 10 miles hurts, you're not strong enough to run 11. This is really simple. Anyway, back to the Zercher reverse lunge. So, the Zercher reverse lunge is going to go in the elbows, just like all the other exercises in this series. And we're going to glue in and root the front foot from the tripod, from the outside of the foot to the inside of the foot and through the heel. You're going to reverse lunge backwards with the opposite leg, and you're going to squeeze the glute and hamstring on the front leg. So the back leg is there merely to support and stabilize the front leg. In a forward lunge, you can often push off the back leg. What we're trying to do is minimize as much push off the back leg as possible. So even in fatigue, we're trying to create more stability, and we're trying to create more activation of the glute and hamstring muscles and more abdominal recruitment as the Zercher reverse lunge progresses in weight. So you're either becoming stronger in those positions or you're becoming worse in those positions. So I'm going to demonstrate it, and then I'll talk more about keeping those things, keeping those muscle groups balanced. So here is the bar. I'm going to pull it up into my elbows, and I'm going to glue in my front left foot. I'm going to open up my back left leg, and I'm going to try to strike a 90-degree angle with the front of my shin and the top of my thigh. So as I'm in this position, I'm trying to recruit as much muscle and recruit as much stiffness as I can on my left side, and come up and then come back. So I'm trying to be as engaged as I can on the left-hand side. I'm trying to be as relaxed as I can on the right-hand side. So I'm trying to create as much drift as I can with my shin backwards. Try to engage as much as I can on my leg and hip in the front. When we're looking at squatting and deadlifting patterns, we're often looking at the balance of the musculature. as far as is the training going well or not. If the training is going well, we see more, not less, of a vertical shin angle. A vertical shin angle is going to be what you're going to want to see as far as the actual utilization and activation of glute and hamstring musculature. If you are very, very quad dominant, what happens is the shin tips forward very hard. If you have more glute and hamstring musculature, the tibia shifts backwards. So think about the anterior-posterior relationship of that to the strength on the back side of the hip and the back side of the femur. The stronger you are on the back side of the hip and the back side of the femur, that tibia relationship changes. So think about super heavyweight box squats. People that do super heavyweight box squats, their shin is actually probably negative angle because the suit is going to actually take most of the loading. If you are somebody who is more of an Olympic style squatter, the shin is going to be very far forward because the quads are going to be more dominant because of the bar placement. So as you're doing your assistance exercises on the single leg, think about where your shin angle is. Not everybody is going to be able to start with a Zercher position and a bar. Some people will need to be assisted into these exercises with a TRX or a band or a strap, and any of that is fine. It just depends on what level of strength you're at. However, what I do recommend for most people is to work on their weaker side every week. Work on your weak side every week. Your strong side is always going to be stronger. You're always working on your weaker side to get better. As long as the weak side gets better, you have less stress on your whole body and you get to do the big movements with a lot more success, and you don't have to worry about creating unnecessary imbalances in your strength training. So this is Brandon Schubert from Gain Strength Training Gym. Just another Zercher option for you for the day. Work on keeping your abs and your glutes and your hamstrings engaged in all your squatting and deadlifting patterns, and I'll see you guys later.